Michigan's Abbas Alawieh, the national peace movement leader, is running for state senate.
I'm Abbas Alawieh. I fought Trump and won as a congressional chief of staff. Now I'm running for state senate to make our lives more affordable. My opponent, who has been funded by the same big corporations raising your costs, voted for Trump's anti-diversity policies. It's time for a change. That's why I'm backed by Governor Whitmer and Bernie Sanders. I'm Abbas Alawieh, and I'm asking for your vote by August 4th.
Welcome to Dearborn An and Dearborn بالعربي. We're pleased to welcome Michigan State Senate candidate Mr. Abbas Alawieh. This interview is an opportunity for voters to learn more about his campaign, his priorities, and his vision for our community. Our goal is to help voters make an informed decision while respecting that the final choice belongs to each voter on election day. Mr. Alawieh, thank you for joining us today. Let's begin with our first question. Please introduce yourself. Why are you running for the Michigan State Senate?
Thank you so much, Hanaya, and thank you to Dearborn An and to Dearborn بالعربي. This is a lovely opportunity to get to connect with you and with those watching at home. I'm really excited to share more about who I am and about the position that I'm running for. I'm running to be our next state senator in Senate District 2. That includes Dearborn, Dearborn Heights, Allen Park, Melvindale, half of the city of Taylor, everything north of Goddard, and a part of the Warrendale area in Detroit. I'm running on the experience that I have as someone who was a chief of staff in the United States Congress. I'm also running on the experience that I have as someone who grew up right here in Dearborn, relying on life-saving programs like Medicaid and food assistance and public schools that our state gets to decide what happens with. And as someone who has both relied on those programs growing up and as someone who got to help protect and expand those programs at the federal level in my work in the United States Congress, I feel well positioned to help grow our voice and our influence in Lansing. I'm running as the candidate who is endorsed by everyone from Senator Bernie Sanders to our local mayors, Dearborn Mayor Abdullah Hammoud and Dearborn Heights Mayor Mo Beydoun, as well as so many local elected officials. And I'm asking every single person who's hearing us, every single person who's present in this district, who has the ability to get out and vote, to vote by August 4th. It's a very important election. I'm running in the Democratic primary for state senate.
Thank you so much. If elected, what are your top three priorities during your first 100 days in office?
Thank you so much for the question. I'm running on a policy platform that's about putting working families first. What that means is fighting for healthcare as a human right, for universal healthcare. Healthcare should be free for every single person in our communities. Also fighting for childcare for all. We should be able to access childcare in the same way that we access public schools. And there's no reason why our childcare costs should cost more than a mortgage in a lot of cases. Two other priorities for me. One is elder care. I believe any society is only as decent as how we are treating our senior citizens, veterans, people with disabilities. And I think there's a lot more that our state needs to be doing. And finally, safety in our neighborhoods and in our schools is a really big priority of mine. And what that's going to require is bringing different levels of government together to address those difficult problems. But in the first 100 days, to deliver on that policy platform, I'll be laser focused on making sure to set up an office, an official office that people know how to access and know where to go when they need help, any help that has to do with our state government. I want to be an accessible elected leader, so folks know if you need help, you can call Abbas's office.
You answered one of our questions. Excellent. With the rising cost of living, what specific actions would you like to take to help our working families?
It's really an excellent question. I think there's so much that we can do to bring down costs. I think bringing down costs has to start with running the kinds of campaigns where once I am in the seat, I am accountable to only the people and not any big corporation that is responsible for driving up our costs. I'm proud to be the candidate in this race who has never taken any corporate campaign contributions, and what that will allow for is the kind of accountable relationships with the large corporations that exist in our area to ensure that we can bring down costs. One very important priority on that front is DTE. We need to tie our electrical bills not just to a system where the costs keep going up, but also tie it to reliability, right? So if our grid is unreliable, when every time there's a storm we lose power, recently for 6 days, our rates should go down when that happens. And we need to demand that companies like DTE invest in our grid so that we can bring costs down. In addition to bringing down our costs as it relates to our electric bills and utilities bills, advancing healthcare for all, childcare for all, can be part of a broader approach that can bring down costs for working families.
I did watch the live where you were at the senior citizen building, and you did talk about like the solution and how that building keeps on, like the power goes off and for days, and they have stairs and so on, and your solution was like maybe put them on a different grid or build a grid. So easy solution, but nobody's accountable for. So thank you for working on that.
Of course.
Too. I am following you, and you have my support.
Thank you.
Okay, so my next question to you is, how do you plan to support small businesses and create more job opportunities in our community?
Yeah, it's really an excellent question. I think our small businesses, more than anything, especially here in Senate District 2, are the backbone of our local economies. There isn't a place that you can go in Michigan that has as many new ideas on every street corner that exists in this area. People are taking risks, and part of how we make it easier for people to take risks is the riskiest parts of that experience we can help them with.
Take care of it.
Specifically as it relates to healthcare. If we provide universal healthcare for every single person in this state, it makes it a lot easier to decide, should I pursue this new idea that could help transform my family and my community or not? Because it won't be dependent on whether or not, your ability to have healthcare won't be dependent on whether or not you pursue that idea. That's one way. The other way is, as state senator, I will have an official office that is capable of advocating on behalf of our small businesses, both to try and advance policies, laws that can help our small businesses, get them small business grants, get them protections for their work, but also if there are specific things that have to do with licensing across our state, and sometimes small businesses can have a very hard time figuring that out, my office can be an advocate on their behalf. So where if something isn't working right with their business with the state, they have an advocate in me, where it's not just them picking up the phone and waiting an hour or two on the phone trying to get their case solved. They have a state senator who's going to call the person in charge and say, hey, the person who's calling, you got to answer to me because I'm advocating on their behalf. I want to be an ally to our small business community so that we can continue growing the beautiful small business centered economy that we have here in Senate.
Help me understand this. Maybe I'm off topic, but I know from my husband's friends and from friends, like I hear a lot sometimes, small businesses sometimes, like they have an idea, they start on their project, they pay rent, but they're not open because I'm not sure what it is. It takes forever for them to open their business.
Yeah.
Is there something your office can do to ease this process, to transition the process and to make it smoother? So like if my rent is $2,500 and I'm paying for 6 months, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Will your office be able to, if everything is up to code and everything, why should it be that hard for them to get started right away?
Yeah.
Is your office?
I want to be the kind of elected official where, regardless of what the issue is, wherever government isn't working, I want you to be able to call me, and I have the relationships and the phone numbers to I can help answer people's questions quickly. In that specific scenario that you described, there's two things we can do. In an immediate sense, we can clarify for people, here's how the process works right now, and help them navigate through it so that it doesn't take as long. But in a broader sense, if people are small business owners, new business owners, are experiencing the same problem over and over, and it's a hardship, and the process is delayed for an extended period of time, and we identify an opportunity to change the way the rules are written to make it easier for small business owners, those are things that we'll be able to advocate for on behalf of our small business community.
And you did mention earlier about something about grants, so maybe something this will be embedded in if they face hardship, that they can, so instead of them giving up and then, this is a waste opportunity and...
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Now, public education. What is your plan to ensure that we have a better public education and our public schools receive the support that they need?
Yeah. So I'm proud to be the candidate in this race who is a graduate of our public schools.
Mm-hmm.
Not only was I a graduate of our public schools, I was also an ESL student here in Dearborn Public Schools. And because of the strength of our ESL program, I was able to go from not knowing a word of English to being a Capitol Hill Chief of Staff. The way that happens is we have to take care of our teachers, our parents.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you. Take care of the teachers.
Take care of everyone involved in the educational process.
Yes.
And at the state level, part of what we have to do is make sure that we increase our investment in our public schools, because the rate of increase in investment in public schools here in the state of Michigan ranks near last relative to all states in our country. Part of how we do that is we increase the per pupil funding here in the state, but we also have to move with urgency to invest in our schools. So much of our school infrastructure is crumbling.
Yes.
So many students are going to school with no AC, with technology that's outdated. We need to invest in our schools in a massive way, and I want to bring that urgency to the fight in Lansing.
Okay, what sets you apart from your opponent, and why should voters vote for you?
Well, I'm proud to be running both on my experience at every level of government. When I was working at the federal government, I worked really hard to bring together county, city, federal government, state level government to solve really hard problems. That ability to bring different levels of government, I think, will serve this district well. And that's why I'm proud to have the support of leaders from every level of government here in Michigan. Everyone from our county executive to our mayors, to city council members, to school board members. I'm proud to have support from across levels of our government. The other thing is that one of the things that we're doing with this campaign that I'm very, very proud of is I'm proud to be the candidate in this race who has never and will never take any money from those same corporations that are driving up our costs. I want to be accountable only to the people of the district that I'm running to serve.
Yes.
Exactly. And I'm proud to be running a campaign that's exactly about that.
Okay, and this one is dear to me. What message do you have for young Arab American voters and others who usually don't participate in elections?
Well, young voters in general, I think it's important for us to understand just how important their voice is, and also to understand that any decision that I will be making as state senator will impact young people for the longest. They will have to live with the decisions that our elected officials are making.
Yes.
And in the Senate district that I'm running in, I actually broke down the numbers with my team. The last time there was a state Senate race in 2022, the percentage of the overall vote that was young people aged 18 to 24 was something like 2%. It was a depressingly low number. And so we've got to get our young people out to vote, because their ideas, their energy are what are going to determine whether our community moves in the direction of progress. I believe in our young people, and I'm really proud that our campaign has been endorsed by the University of Michigan Dearborn College Democrats and other other organizations that are centering the voices of young people in our politics.
Okay, finally, what's your message to voters ahead of the August 4 election? What is your message? We just want to know what's your message and why is it very important for everyone to get out and vote and encourage others to vote?
It's an excellent question. Before I answer this, and I want to address our audience directly, but I want to thank you, Anaya, for this opportunity. I want to thank the Dearborn On team, Dearborn Arabi team. It's really a privilege to get to be in conversation with you.
Thank you.
And I want to discuss, I want to mention to every person who's watching, I want to appeal to you directly. My name is Abbas Alawieh.
It's my honor and my privilege to be running to be your state senator in Senate District 2. That's the area that includes Dearborn, Dearborn Heights, Allen Park, Melvindale, half of the city of Taylor, and a part of the Warrendale area in Detroit. I'm asking for your vote by August 4th. You can do early voting starting July 25th. Early voting started July 25th, and election day is August 4th. I'm running to put working families first, to deliver on an agenda that lowers costs for your family. And the only way I can get there is with your support, so I'm asking for your vote, and I hope to have the privilege of serving you and your family in the Michigan State Senate.
Thank you, Mr. Abbas Alawieh, for joining us today and sharing your vision with our audience. And thank you everyone for watching. And remember, voting is both a right and a responsibility. Whatever your choice is, please make a choice heard on Election Day, Tuesday, August 4th. Thank you so much.